Hello, Delaney, and welcome to Energy Talks. It is season 4, episode 2, and I am beyond excited to have you here with me today. Just to get started, I always just like right off the bat, if you could tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your background is.
I am Delaney. Thank you for having me. I am in Idaho, and yeah, I'm the only spinal practitioner right now. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here and connect with others. I think that's so important, and that's something that was not really missing, but like something that I wanted to forge within this community. So I'm really happy you're doing this. And yeah, I practice spinal energetics as well as ama bodywork, which is based in Chinese medicine. So it's really, um, I guess, foundational in my practice. And I loved adding spinal energetics because it weaves really nicely together. And I'm still kind of finding my flow in it. And it's just been a beautiful journey thus far. So yeah, that's a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, I would love to. I've never heard of AMA before. Is there like, do you have like a little snippet, a pitch?
Sure.
Like, what is that?
Is ama. A lot of people don't know what it is. It's kind of a dying art. In a sense, it's based in Chinese medicine. So I like to tell people it's like acupuncture, but without needles. So I'm using my hands and intention, just like an acupuncturist would with needles, to address the meridians and channels of the body and really accessing the spirit and what that person came here to do and who they are. So it's very hands on, which I love. And yeah, that's a little snippet.
Very cool. Um, for whatever reason, I feel compelled to ask, have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV series?
Yes,
All right, so you know the girl who's like, and
yes,
yeah, okay, right, that's you.
exactly. Yeah, that's based kind of in five element theory, which is also like a branch that I love practicing, and that's kind of what that show is based in. So and that's such a good show.
Yeah,
So totally get
yeah,
it.
yeah. Okay. So, what then drew you into spinal energetics?
Um, Definitely it was just a draw and a pull for me. I feel like I actually saw a video of it. I don't know how long ago it was, like probably right when it came out into the world, and I saw it and I had a lot of resistance to it. It was so
Mm,
funny. Like I was like, that's not real, which is funny to me because I'm like pretty open and like um, it was just that resistance, I think, that came up, and it was what was meant to be. And then I saw it a year later, and I had a totally different, like, visceral response of like, I just started crying, and I was like, I need to go learn that. So it was just a like complete 180 in like a really beautiful way. I probably wasn't ready before. And then it was just like that immediate call,
mhm.
which I feel like probably resonates with a lot of practitioners. Just feeling
Yeah,
that like that's where I'm supposed
mm,
to go next. So yeah.
definitely. I can appreciate the resistance you felt initially because I feel like sometimes when we know like a big change is going to take place, we can be like, I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet.
Not
So,
quite yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's very cool because you're right. A lot of people talk about they have this draw, they have this pull.
Mhm.
Um, but you're the first that I've heard kind of talk about that resistance component that can flare up at first of like, are you ready for this shift? Are you ready for this change? So,
Totally.
yeah. So, what was your first session with spinal energetics like?
It was beautiful. It was online with a practitioner in Australia who actually, after I went through the course, I went and met in person and had my second session with her. So it was really beautiful, like full circle moment. But yeah, my first session was, as you know, just as powerful as in person. And yeah, I just felt like home. It felt like connection. It felt like a remembering and also like something I hadn't ever experienced before. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. it was a very flowy session. I didn't have a lot of, trauma shakes or anything. It was very gentle but powerful. So,
Yeah. Did you by chance, I'm curious if you experienced any movement or emotional release with your first session, or was it more just like an internal process for you?
um, both. I'm definitely like, I would say highly emotional. I think that's like when I saw the first video of Spinal, or like the second time when I was like, I need to go do that, like I just started crying. And actually, during the course, just being in that realm, I don't know if you took it online or in person.
I did my training in person.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I was like, just that container was like a lot in a really beautiful way, but also like just feeling so much. So I definitely like had a lot of emotion and tears come up then. So that's kind of what my first session was like, just being present with myself and kind of what's always been there. It's kind of like when I start to talk, it's just there, that emotion. Um,
Yeah.
but I've learned how to like channel it in a really, I think, beautiful way. And spinal energetics kind of helped me with that movement and awareness.
Yeah, I can definitely relate and empathize with that experience of just like that container of being around so many powerful healers and energetic
Yeah,
people can be a lot. And it really kind of pushed me to have to accept my own empathic abilities, um,
totally.
and really instill energetic boundaries. I feel like
Hmm.
that was my biggest lesson throughout my training in the weeks after, was just really being honest with myself with my energetic boundaries. And although like it is a superpower, it is a gift, it's something that
Right.
you have to like sharpen that blade to make sure that it's serving its true purpose. um but yeah, I remember during my training I had to go I had to go like sit by a tree to like ground, and I like came back in holding a pine cone, like
Yeah,
this makes
we
me
were
feel
probably
better.
by the same tree. I
Right.
did the same thing. That's funny.
So what were some of the effects and changes that you noticed, be it internal or external, after your first session, first few sessions?
I think just a greater sense of like presence and pause. Um, I've always been kind of that way in general, like knowing when to retreat and have that space for myself. But sometimes my brain will still be going. And so I really noticed impact in my thinking, logical side of things, my rational side of things. I'm a very like creative person, but that brain is very loud. So I noticed a lot of just like peace of mind and having a pause in, especially in relationships, like communication wise, like almost seeing things happen before they happen, if that makes sense, to where I could pause enough and then step in a way clearer manner. And yeah, I guess that's just what's coming to mind now. And then just more space in my physical body. I've dealt with Lyme disease and things that are kind of debilitating physically and emotionally. And I think that really just freed up some space in my nervous system because I've been dealing with that as long as I can remember. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that was just another beautiful tool of unwinding that just past pain. So, which was huge, still
Okay.
is.
Yeah, of course. So when you're speaking on that past pain, was it, I mean, of course, both physical and emotional are you're
Mhm.
going to find relief from, but was there one more than the other that kind of like, or just surprised you? Like, wow, I don't feel this sensation anymore, or this has lessened, or at least
Yeah, I
shifted
would
in some way.
say with Lyme disease, because it goes into the connective tissue for a lot of people, my neck just like I didn't have as much of the flare-ups that I had been having at certain seasons throughout my life. Like if it got cold or damp out, it would go right to my neck. And while that still can happen if I'm not careful, I feel like, again, that was huge and that it was very noticeable that I wasn't having those flare ups as much since I started spinal energetics and receiving it as well as just working with it. I feel like that's like the biggest gift is that when we receive it as well as work with it, it's just, I feel like when we're working with it or treating others, we're still in that unwinding with them, if that makes sense. So yeah, I feel like it's a constant now, which is really nice. Um,
Yeah.
and then emotionally, just again, having more space, which who doesn't want that? And that doesn't mean I still don't have, the emotions come up, but it's just more gentle with myself. I think if anyone's gone through chronic pain, it's like you feel that pain, and then on top of it, like, why is this happening? Or
Mhm.
why am I not getting better? Or you feel like, here we go again. So, yeah, I think just my perspective shifted as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm curious for you personally, is there a certain, like a sweet spot for you when it comes to how often you receive spinal energetics?
um, honestly, just when I feel called, I think in the beginning when I got back from the course and was like integrating that and all of the
Mm,
knowledge, um, I actually felt like I needed more space to just be in nature. Like I went to New Zealand after and I did nothing but sit and be in nature, which was so beautiful. But now that I've kind of been holding more sessions, I feel like that's when I'm like, the sweet spot is what are my resources and when am I tapping into those too much, and just giving a lot and just balancing that with receiving, um, which during sessions I feel like I am receiving, but of course there's a sweet spot of like knowing when to care for self, and I think that's huge with any practitioner. So ideally once a month, but I'm really grateful to have connected with other practitioners and they're doing like group sessions, which I love. And yeah, I've just met and gotten through so many practitioners, and everyone, as you know, holds something unique and
mhm.
within spinal energetics. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It is. Type two fun, right? Might not be
Yeah.
fun in the moment, but after,
Yeah,
after you look back and you're like, okay, that was good.
exactly.
So you spoke briefly about seeing shifts in your relationships. Could you kind of go into that a little bit further? Like, what were some of the changes, shifts in general that you noticed in relationships, be it close or acquaintances?
Um, I feel like just having almost a backbone. And that's funny because it's having to do with the spine, but just moving into conversations in a different way than I had been. Like, for example, like with my dad, we kind of have a strained relationship. I've worked on that my whole life. And I think through working with my own just wisdom and body and coming back into that, just having a lot more space when I have the same conversations with him. Um, a big shift I noticed was like just almost doing the opposite of what I had been doing, that were probably based on old beliefs or stories and just patterns. So it was almost just like seeing like a fork in the road and choosing to go on the path that I hadn't been on quite yet, and seeing beautiful results, from the people I was interacting with, like my dad, or yeah, with my partner, just having better communication skills and also just bandwidth. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then with clients, it's like just witnessing my own growth and how that reflects back into interactions with clients. It's obviously different if you are confident or creating that space and how that reflects outward, just like with anything. But yeah, it's a ripple effect. I think that's why this
Mhm.
is a beautiful modality and why it's, I think, just evolved to where we're at now. It's needed.
That's that's great. So it's interesting to me that you said backbone because I've done a good chunk of these interviews now, and you're the second one I've done today. And it was the first time in my first session, this recording that I did this morning, that someone mentioned like it gave them a backbone, and that was the first time I've
Right.
heard that being said. And then you just said it again, like having this backbone,
I
and
love it.
yeah, like it seems to very much be just like this theme, especially for today, of just like being able to stand up for yourself and to speak your truth and to give yourself the space to do so seems to be really important and something that's kind of like shifting in the world as a whole. So thank you for speaking on that. So, what then kept you coming back to spinal energetics? Like, what kept you coming back to receiving the sessions, to doing the work? Like, what were some things that you're just like, I want to do this again?
Mm, I think first and foremost, just that inner knowing of like, this is the path I'm on. There's still so much unknown in it. And that's also how I know I'm on the right path. And it also just feels like a way of life in a sense, kind of like with Chinese medicine. When I started diving into that, like 10 years ago, my mom brought me up with it as well, but it just felt like a way of life. And I feel like that's when you know something can um, just bring that balance into every aspect of your life. And who, again, wouldn't want that, or, who wouldn't want to keep that around? It can be hard. It can be like bring you to your knees, but through that, I always know, like getting back up. There's no other option.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Delaney, my favorite question to ask everyone is if you were to describe spinal energetics with just one word, what would it be?
Hmm. I hear unity.
Unity. Nice. Would
Yes.
you like to elaborate on that?
Hmm. I don't know. I just feel like that's been a kind of feeling, as far as it being maybe the opposite of like separation or feeling dislocated. Um, I just feel like it's oneness, and yeah, I think we all want to feel that, and I feel like we're designed to be in that state. Again, we've just probably forgotten. So just coming back to that, I think, and that's what spinal energetics has really reminded me of. So yeah, unity.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So, just to wrap things up here, if you could do me a favor and share with anyone watching, maybe there is a social media handle that you'd like to leave, a website, where can they find you? Do you offer in person, online? Any information you want to throw out?
I offer in person and online in Boise, Idaho. Um, and my handle is at Graceful Shen, which means spirit in Chinese medicine. So, yeah, I look forward to
Nice.
connecting with whoever's out there and you again.
Yes,
Um, yeah, thank you for having me.
of course, Delaney. It's been a treat, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.